Coaches, I want to share a topic with you that has been brought up to me many times when I instruct coaching courses at the grassroots level, at the D license. Many coaches struggle with finding the balance between when to coach and when they're overcoaching. We've discussed this many times, and I think it's important we dive into it so I could share some content with you, share some insights how you can prevent overcoaching. I'll start with this. To not do something for someone who can and should do for themselves is an act of love. That quote is by former UCLA basketball coach John Wooden. And I think that hits the nail on the head when it comes to coaching your players. I've coached at several levels. I've been at the recreation level, club level, ODP, school programs, high school, at the varsity, and also at the junior varsity level. And when I reflect on my coaching experiences with the players, one of the things I can remember, if it was a halftime team talk, I would be the only one who talks. If this was a practice and there was a moment to be corrected, I would be the one that would be giving all the information, giving all the ideas, doing all the demonstrations. And it would be more of an environment of I say, you do. And basically that's an environment of more of a command style. I think one of the things as a coach you got to recognize when the environment is centered around the coach, when all decisions are made by the coach, players lack creativity. They lack imagination. There's no fun in it for them. Some big things that happen, they just won't talk to each other. And all of those situations prevent a player from playing at their best. And I think what we need to recognize with the game of soccer, you need risk takers. You need players who want to own the game. You want players who, in the moment of the game, they want to make big decisions and they want to take risks, and knowing that if they take risks, there's not the consequence of the coach is going to be yelling and screaming at me. But what I think is important, how I can help you, is that I want to share 4 ways that you can take away from this video that can help you on the field. And I think the first one is the ability to learn to observe. So observing is like reading the game. Can you watch the game? Can you interpret what's happening? And can you come up with an idea that solves a problem that your players are facing? So many times as coaches, when we have our players playing, oftentimes we just follow the ball all the way around the field. And observing means you got to analyze what's happening. And it centers a lot around the 5 W's. What, where, why, when, and the final one is who's involved. So if you're going to look on a game, we need to recognize the game along those 5 factors. All right? Also, as you observe, observation involves taking a step back. How did you set up your practice? All right? Are the teams balanced? What kind of rules you have in place? So all of those things need to take place before you start coaching. The next step, which is supported by observing, is note-taking. I think this is so important for coaches to grow, and many of the coaches do not do this. But when I coach, whether it's a game or a practice, I always have a notebook and my pen with me. And this shows a setup for a game I would be coaching. And what I have here is a heading pre-game. This is during the game. And this is post-game. Pretty much after the game ends, I reflect on what happened. But we're focusing on here on game day when they're playing. And it's important that we recognize and take down important points that are giving our team problem during the game section here. So if you notice, I got a section here that shows the area of the field that I'd be focusing on. And this is just the goalkeeper and players in the back, because this would go along with the theme that I did that week. For example, it would be playing from the back or playing out of the back. So by having this theme, I can take down important points here that would be giving my team problem on game day. The third thing, I think when we bring in our players at halftime, it's important we develop the skill of asking meaningful questions. Because at that point now, we're starting to get the players engaged in the discussion of a halftime team talk. We're getting them to start thinking. And a meaningful question could be like, what is preventing us from building out of the back or coming out of the back? That question would be in line with what we had done at practice. So now the kids had repetitions at practice. Now they're trying to apply this in the game. But you have made notes of this and you can ask those questions. And now we start engaging players into the discussion. Fourth thing and final, I think we gotta have the input of the players coming up with the solution that we need to carry out on the field. This is very important, because when kids have or share ideas regarding how they can solve a problem on the field, these players are more likely to go onto the field, take ownership, and apply some of the ideas that they came up with. All right? I think if you follow along with those 4 steps, you can start preventing overcoaching when you have your players. Oftentimes, what coaches do, they bring in the players and they just start talking, rambling, and they're going from one topic to the other. And the biggest challenge here is the players. They cannot learn just discussing several different topics. So I look to hear back from you in the chat. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, I have a guide sheet there that can help you improve in your coaching on the field and preventing you overcoaching.